Hey there. I'm here to talk about Mary Magdalene and a recent experience I had with her. I was on the Big Island over the holidays, and I happened to be there on the solstice. And very early in the morning, a few hours after midnight on the 22nd, I was on Mauna Kea, which is one of the tallest mountains. It may be the tallest mountain in the US, and it is said to be the place where you can see the stars best on the whole planet. In fact, it is such a beautiful place to see the stars that there are a number of observatories there. And so I was there with my husband and daughter and some family. My husband was doing astrophotography, and I had the good fortune to do some ceremony while I was there. And it was quite bitterly cold, so the teenagers had gone into the car long before, but there was a pile of stones. The Hawaiian people consider Mauna Kea a sacred mountain. It is a place where they go to the summit and connect with their own creation story. And so along the way on the mountain, there are these stone altars created by pilgrims making their way up and leaving prayers and offerings, and it just happened to be that we found ourselves at one of these altar places. And so the altar of stones was sitting there, and I had brought two leis, floral leis, and a sand dollar and another shell and some sacred stones with me as an offering. And I was sitting there and I was looking out at the stars. And this is actually a painting that I did of Mary Magdalene 4 or 5 years ago in a visionary painting journey. And as you can see, she is wearing this mantle of stars. And it literally just struck me today, as I was sitting on that sacred mountain, and these stars were so dense that it looked like a quilted blanket. The dimensions of stars that were present was unbelievable. It was quite a privilege to be there. But anyway, this mantle that I was shown and that I painted when I did her image brought it all back to me, because it does have kind of that depth, the depth of what the sky was like. And as I was sitting there, I was sitting on the mountain next to my sacred altar, and I was offering prayers, and I just had this sense of her presence and this sense of being connected to her thousands of years ago, sitting out under the night sky on a rocky landscape, just like I was inhabiting. And it was a really powerful and deep touching in to my connection with her. And I'm preparing to offer my MagdaleneRose Mentorship, which is a journey of exceptional leadership. The likes of which Mary Magdalene was and is the quintessential mentor for. She, along with her mentor, Mother Mary, When I think about exceptional spiritual leadership for women, feminine, exceptional leadership, I really can't go any further than Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary. And I say that because Mary Magdalene, for example, is such a beautiful example and role model for not only both of them actually standing in their spiritual passion and their spiritual power, because as we know, both of them were high priestesses and both of them were trained, in the ancient mystery schools and were devout in their spiritual passion and in the immensity of their mission and their commitment to their mission and to their willingness to step into self-mastery in a way that would enable them to fulfill their life's mission and their life's purpose. So much so that we are still talking about them today. We know that they both were living at very dark and intense times, dangerous times, intense times, and that it was risky business to embody their light in such a powerful way. And it seems to me that we are in similar times. We don't face the same kinds of risks that they do. But these are some dark and heavy times, and it is my belief that we are here in part to complete their mission. And so I have been blessed with the invitation to provide and create a container for those women who are ready to claim that level of spiritual leadership, that mantle of authority. Those of you who have already kind of reached a fruition and a fulfillment and a denouement in your work. And you could be done and you could be happy and fulfilled with what you've done. But there's this deep call to kind of blow it out of the stratosphere, or to go as big as you were meant to in this life. And I'm here to offer a small chrysalis container for those of us who are crossing that threshold and stepping into the great mystery of believing this is as good as it gets, and then recognizing the lid is being blown off and we are being asked to participate in something so much greater and so much more than we ever realized. The other piece that I'm just going to mention about this painting, because I want to talk about the symbology of it. The name of the painting is She Who Knows Her Own Worth, this painting of Mary Magdalene. And a key factor that I see so many of us continuing to play small about is the issue of money and worth. And the thing that I really appreciate about Mary Magdalene is she was as comfortable in her wealth, her financial wealth, her means. She came from a family of means, and she used her financial means to help fund the ministry of Jesus and the growth of that work, that body of work. And she was as comfortable in her wealth as she was in her spiritual path and her spiritual devotion. And for so many, that nexus point is still a place of wounding, that spiritual passion, spiritual fire, as well as embodying wealth consciousness. And so I really honor and I value her for that as well. So if you are interested or are feeling a call to step into, as I said, that mantle of spiritual authority, to join the mission of continuing the legacy of love that Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary began all those years ago. If you're feeling called to reach the next level of your work, your sacred work, and your mission, then I would invite you to explore the offering of MagdaleneRose Mentorship. It is a small community of women. There are 9 spaces open and available. We'll be doing powerful group community support, catalytic collaborations, as well as one-on-one support. So rather than, now that I'm in this altered state of consciousness, rather than trying to explain all the details to you, I'm just going to say, check out the link. Check out the link and see if it's a fit for you. And if it is, and if it's not, either way, I do a deep bow. A deep bow to you in the light that you bring and the sacred work that you are offering these days. Much love.